Parents are not allowed beyond this gate, the guard said, voice flat, as if he had repeated the line 100 times this morning. I stood still, clutching the strap of my duffel bag tightly. On either side of me, my parents stood like stiff shadows. The college gate loomed before us, rust red and wide open. But it still felt like a wall. But she's never stayed away from home before, my mother snapped, her voice already rising. What kind of rule is this? Who makes such rules? The guard scratched his head. Ma'am, this is standard. You can't go in. Listen, I'm not going to drop my daughter at the gate like she's a courier parcel. I'll be quick. I could feel the stares, parents with their goodbyes, students dragging bags, buzzing with nervous excitement. My father shifted awkwardly, trying to pull Ma by her sleeves. Let it go, he mumbled. But Ma wouldn't be moved. The guard sighed. Okay, 10 minutes. You can go in, but he stays out, he added, pointing at my father. Her eyes lit up like she had won a battle. She held my wrist and marched ahead like I was still 5. Inside the hostel wing, the air changed. The walls echoed with shrieks of laughter, shoes clattering on the floor, girls yelling from open doors. Some had already unpacked their fairy lights and soft toys. Someone had music on. A girl ran past us with her wet hair, laughing mid conversation on her phone. Ma wrinkled her nose. This is hostel, not a fish market. How do these girls plan to study in this noise? She glanced at a group of girls giggling near a window, showing their teeth like it's a beauty contest. I kept quiet. I always kept quiet. Our dorm room was at the end of the corridor. When we entered, one bed was already occupied. A girl was sitting cross legged, scrolling on her phone. Her face was hidden behind a green sheet mask, and she wore a loose grey tee and denim shorts, one AirPod in. She didn't even glance up. Ma froze. Is this a girls' hostel or a fashion show? She muttered under her breath. Then louder. Hello, beta. You're a student. Here to study or this? Her eyes scanned the girl from head to toe. The girl looked up slowly, expression unreadable under the mask. We are not robots, Auntie, she said, removing one earbud. We are here to study and leave. The body needs refreshment too. Her gaze dropped to my outfit. Modest, pale blue salwar kameez. I folded the edge of my dupatta over my arms instinctively. Oh, you like manners too. Is that what your parents taught you? Ma snapped. Before the girl could respond, a sharp voice cut through the doorway. Parents are expected to leave now. It was the warden, arms folded, no nonsense expression. Ma stiffened. She turned to me and lowered her voice. Stay away from that one. Bad influence. Look at her clothes, her tone. I nodded, smiled like a good daughter should. She kissed my forehead, sighed dramatically, and left. When I turned back into the room, the girl had peeled off her mask. She was wiping her face with a towel. And then she turned. My breath caught. Remy? She raised an eyebrow. Still so dramatic, she muttered, grabbed her phone, and walked out of the room. Remy. Of all people. The girl I had grown up beside. My neighbor. My mother's worst nightmare. She was loud. She was opinionated. She wore crop tops and danced on balconies. She called aunties out when they judged her. And the worst part? Her parents let her. I wasn't allowed to talk to her. I wasn't even allowed to look at her for too long. And yet somehow, here she was. In my dorm. In my life. Fate had a strange sense of humor. I sat on bed, back straight, phone pressed to my ear. Yeah, ma, I had poha in the canteen. Not too spicy. No, no pickle. I didn't feel like it. No, I haven't spoken to anyone yet. No, they all looked busy. I just came back and put the green bedsheet, the one with the little pink flowers. Yeah. I kept our family photo in the drawer. And yes, I locked my suitcase. From the corner of my eyes, I saw Remy turn off the light on her side of the room. Without a word, she slid under the blanket like I didn't exist. I didn't tell Ma about her. I just couldn't. Morning came like an alarm bell to the face. I was early, neat, pressed kurti, hair braided. I reached class 15 minutes before it started. And there she was, Remy, sitting 3 rows behind me, surrounded by laughter and voices. She leaned against the desk, grinning like she belonged there. talking to a boy, two boys actually, like she'd known them forever. How could she talk to them like that? So easily, so loudly. She wore a short denim jacket over a black tank top. She didn't even have a notebook out. I I found a seat right in front, second row from the board, where Ma would have told me to sit. I didn't speak, didn't smile. I listened. I took notes. I did what I was taught to do: be good, be invisible, be perfect. Lunch break, I went to the canteen. I sat alone, ate quietly, came back, read chapters from the next class, went to the dorm, still empty. It was almost 9 p.m. when Remy returned, laughing with a girl I hadn't seen before. They both smelled faintly of perfume and chips and something tangy. Maybe beer. Dude, he was fine, the girl said. I told you. That smile. Oof, death, Remy replied, dropping her bag with a thud. I looked up briefly from my notebook. They hadn't even noticed me. Then the girl glanced over. Oh, hey, are we disturbing you? She asked politely. I didn't answer. I rolled my eyes quietly, almost on reflex. What the? Did you just roll your eyes? She snapped, stepping closer. I didn't move, just turned a page. Excuse me? She started again, louder this time. Juhi, Remy said quickly, standing up, placing a hand on her friend's shoulder. Let it go. What? She'll tell her mom, and her mom might show up and beat your ass, Remy smirked. What the hell, Rames? I'm serious, Remy said, grinning with sarcasm. We are the bad girls, remember? Untouchables, polluted. Her mom probably thinks we'll hex her daughter just by breathing in the same room. They both left with laughter echoing in the corridor. I stared at my book, but couldn't read a word. My face was burning. I grabbed my phone. Ma, you were so right. That girl, my roommate, she brought someone over, and they were so loud and vulgar. They were talking about boys and parties. I just wanted to study. She what? File a complaint with the warden if she comes near you again, and tell her straight you don't want anyone entering the room. She can go party all she wants, but not in your space. Yes, Ma. I hung up. A moment later, the door creaked open. Remy walked in, eyebrows raised as she noticed my flushed face and the phone still in my hand. She didn't say anything at first, just walked to her bed and sat. But then she sighed, turned around, sat cross legged. You know what? She said, her voice even but sharp. I think you haven't realized something yet. I looked at her for the first time since she entered. We're 18, adults. This isn't school anymore, and we don't live under your mom's roof. I didn't respond because maybe she was right. But being right doesn't mean you're good. And Remy was never the good one. Jimmy started sitting next to me after the second class, quiet, neatly dressed, focused, just the way I liked people. She barely spoke, but she didn't walk too fast, didn't try to make small talk, and always waited for me before heading to the canteen or washroom. It was like having a shadow, a safe one. That day, the canteen was bursting with noise. Girls and boys mixed freely. Too freely, I thought. They shared fries, stole each other's drinks, sat way too close. One girl threw her head back laughing as a guy touched her arm. Another gave someone a side hug while sliding into the bench beside him. Shameless. I found a corner table, placed my tray down, and sat with a sigh. Jimmy followed, but before she could even unwrap her sandwich, I started. Do you see that? Look at them. It's only been a week and they're already acting like couples, sitting together, touching like it's a playground. And that one, I pointed towards Remy, who was at the other end of the hall, sharing a plate with a guy, her hand brushing his casually as she passed him a spoon. She's always been like that. Even back home, loud, cheap. My mom says she's a disaster waiting to happen. And now she's turning the college into her circus. Jimmy took a bite, eyes fixed on her food. I continued anyway. No self respect, no limits. I mean, oh, just look at them, laughing so loudly, showing off, desperate for attention. You're weird, Jimmy muttered suddenly. I blinked. What? She stood up, dusting crumbs from her fingers. What's wrong with you? And then she left. I stared at her, stunned. The nerve? I wasn't the problem here. These people were. This culture. I stabbed a piece of roti with my spoon and chewed angrily. Hey! Hey! A voice said suddenly, snapping me out of it. A boy stood beside the table, smiling politely. Do you mind if I sit here? I narrowed my eyes. What? I snapped. I just asked if I could leave, I said, slamming my spoon down. He blinked. Huh? I said leave. Don't try to talk to me again or I will complain to the authorities. He stared at me for a second. Then he laughed out loud. Wow, you're funny, he said, sitting down anyway and placing his tray on the table. He waved a hand at a few other boys nearby. Over here, guys! My mouth hung open. I stood up abruptly. You can't just. I'm going straight to the principal. The boy stood up too, smiling like it was a joke. For what exactly? He asked calmly. For harassing me, I said, my voice loud, trembling with indignation. He raised an eyebrow. Madam, this is college canteen. It's public property. We're allowed to sit wherever we want. I hope you know that. He smirked. His face made my skin crawl. His friends chuckled. I clenched my fist. I understand exactly what you're trying to do, I snapped. But I'm not easy like the other girls here, alright? So watch out. Gasped, not loud but audible, heads turned. I grabbed my bag and stormed off, holding my head high. I didn't look back. Let them laugh. Let them stare. At least they now knew I wasn't like them. I was brave. I was good. The class buzzed with excitement. Everyone loved the announcement of a triathlon, but with a twist. Cycling, sprint, swimming, and a final round of riddles. A four-member mixed team. I lit up with the word cycling. For once, something I actually liked. The teacher smiled as she started announcing the teams. We'll have mixed groups, two boys, two girls each, random pairing. My smile faded. My team, Jimmy, Sam, another boy I barely recognized. Sam, the same boy from the canteen. I raised my hand immediately. Yes, Niana? The teacher asked. Ma'am, can I be in all girls group? The room fell silent for half a second. Then erupted in laughter. Because she's from 1920s, a boy joked. The class roared. Even Sam chuckled. Remy didn't. Shut up, she muttered to the boys. But I heard her tone, and somehow that stung more. The teacher frowned. Why, Nana? What's wrong with having boys in your team? Do you have a problem? I stood a little taller. I'm not someone who dies to be around boys. I was raised with good morals. Another round of giggles, whispers, a few sarcastic gasps. The teacher stared at me. Seriously, Nana? It's high time you upgrade your morals. We live in 21st century. If boys and girls don't work side by side like normal human beings, the world would collapse. Get the thoughts out of your mind. She didn't wait for a response. Teams are final. And she left. The class started scattering. A boy called out, Hey, is there a museum nearby? We've got an antique that needs preserving. Laughter again, loud this time. I stood frozen, cheeks burning. Jimmy looked away. That evening, I called Ma. She listened. What kind of teacher talks like that? These Western minded people have ruined everything. You're not participating in that nonsense, understood? You're there to study, not have fun. But, but Ma, it's cycling, I said softly. Then buy a cycle and ride it alone. You're not doing this. Final. I sighed. Okay. I hung up. Behind me, Remy was brushing her hair at the mirror. I knew she heard everything. I hoped she'd stay quiet. She didn't. Are you for real, Niana? I clenched my jaw. Mind your own business. Wish I could, she muttered. But since we share a room, your narrow mindedness is suffocating. I turned, eyes sharp. Then close your ears and don't pretend to be nice in front of everyone, alright? I know what you really are. She blinked. Oh, what am I? I, I stepped forward. You're a spoiled, ungrateful brat who doesn't listen to her mother. You prance around like the world owns you something. You love attention, especially from boys. You're a shame to your family. Remy stared, stunned. But only for a moment. Then she laughed, cold, short. No, that's not me you're describing. That's your rotting mentality. And guess what? There's no medicine for that. I opened my mouth, but she wasn't done. You think your parents owning your life is a badge of pride, that blindly following everything they say makes you a good girl. That's not obedience. It's called erasing yourself. My parents gave me life, not chains. And if we argue, we grow from it. We understand each other better because we talk. You wouldn't get that because you're too busy living with their voice in your head instead of finding your own. She grabbed her pillow, turned off her lamp, and lay down. Good night, she said, like she hadn't just set fire to everything I believed. My hand shook. I wanted to scream, slap her, break something. Instead, I picked up the bottle from my table and flung it against the floor. It clattered, rolled, stopped. I crawled into bed and yanked my blanket over my head. She didn't say anything else. Neither did I. I sat on the bleachers, arms crossed tight. The field buzzed with energy, teams warming up, teachers arranging flags, whistles shrieking. Everyone seemed alive with anticipation, except me. I didn't want to be there. Not really. Or maybe I did. I wasn't sure anymore. I scanned the field for our teacher. I just needed to get my name withdrawn. Tell them I wouldn't be participating. But she wasn't around. Instead, I saw my team, Sam, Jimmy, and Rahul, gathered under a tree near the cycling station. My legs moved on their own. Hey, I said, approaching. I won't be performing today. They all looked at me, stunned. Sam stepped forward. No, no way you're quitting. We need you to win. I blinked. What are you talking about? You still have three people. You'll manage. Sam shook his head. No, listen. I'm doing the swimming. Jimmy's got the riddle round, and Rahul's, well, he runs, but not very fast. He looked at me dead in the eyes. You're our best chance. You're great at cycling. I frowned. Who told you that? Remy. My breath caught. Remy? Yeah, she said you're amazing. If we coordinate well, we'll win for sure. Something warm fluttered in my chest. It wasn't pride. It wasn't joy. From her, I couldn't explain it. But the warmth was quickly replaced by my mother's voice ringing in my head. Nana, you're not there to enjoy. I stiffened, lowered my gaze, and walked away without another word. I could feel their eyes following me. I hated that. I didn't know what I hated more, the guilt or the longing. As I walked past the stairs, I saw her, Remy, arms folded, leaning casually like she knew I'd come this way. Are you really doing this? She asked. I didn't answer. Don't don't be foolish, she said. You only get to live moments like this once. Don't throw it away. You don't understand, I murmured, surprised by how soft I sounded. I can't disobey my mom. She stepped down a stair. Who's going to tell her? You? I looked up confused. What do you mean? I should lie now? She snorted. No, dummy. You just don't say anything. That way, you're not lying. I hesitated. Without warning, she grabbed my wrist. Come on. She, she pulled me into the changing room and handed me a pair of leggings and a tee. Why are you doing this? I asked. For once, I want to see you leave, she said seriously. I was about to scoff when she smirked. Kidding. I'm cycling too. Just want some real competition. I laughed. A short, genuine one. And just like that, I nodded. The match began. The whistle blew. Rahul ran first, but he was last. My stomach twisted. I clenched my fist. Then Sam dove into the pool like a dolphin, sleek, confident. He cut through the water like it was air and came second. The gap closed. My turn. I mounted the cycle and shot out everything. The world blurred. All I heard was the wind, the gear clicks, the pounding in my chest. I flew. I didn't just reach the finish line. I owned it. First place. Breathless, I joined my team, waiting for Jimmy at the riddle station. 2 minutes passed. Then, Buzz. She stood, grinning shyly. We did it! Sam shouted. The four of us jumped, cheered, hugged. And then Sam scooped me up by my legs, spinning me briefly. I froze at first. Then I laughed, genuinely. I didn't feel like sin or shame. It felt like warmth, like a celebration. Something had shifted inside me. For the first time in my life, I had touched joy without guilt. And it didn't hurt. That evening, the dorm was quiet. I sat on my bed, towel dried hair clinging to my neck, heart still racing from the day. Remy entered. Our eyes met. I wanted to thank her, but the words stuck. She broke the silence. Congratulations! I knew you would win, she said casually, placing a paper bag on the table. I smiled. Thanks. For today. She opened the bag and waved it. Samosa? I nodded. Only if I get the bigger one. We laughed for the first time together. It started small, a quiet walk around the campus after curfew, the cool breeze brushing against my cheeks, empty corridor echoing with our giggles. I had never broken a rule before, and yet there I was, smiling in the dark beside Remy, our footsteps falling in rhythm on the cobbled path. Then came the movie night, us curled under one blanket, our cheeks sore from laughing, the screen glowing long past midnight. When the hostel lights dimmed, we tiptoed through the corridor, shoes in hand, then climbing up the dorm window, panting from silent laughter, our heart racing like kids on a secret mission. We weren't just roommates anymore. We were friends, real ones. Somehow things began to shift. I found myself speaking to boys without my stomach twisting up in knots. At first, I would fumble, saying awkward things with stiff smiles. But Rimi's ease, her fearless way of looking people straight in the eye and saying whatever she meant, it was contagious. For the first time, I started seeing Remy, not through my mom's disapproving eyes, but through my own. Remy said no to her mom when she didn't feel like talking to relatives, and she did it without guilt. She said what she felt, whether it made people laugh or fall quiet. She danced anytime the music played, even if it meant twirling barefoot in a crowded hostel corridor. She was unapologetically herself, and it was beautiful. Slowly, I began keeping little things for myself too. Tiny bits of my life that felt like mine, like not telling my mom about movie nights, or the boy who had said I looked good in sky blue, or how happy I felt just sitting in silence beside Remy, knowing I didn't have to say anything at all. So when my mom called and asked what I had eaten, I just said mess food and left it at that. It was our first summer vacation. The station buzzed with people waiting for their trains home. Remy and I stood by the cafeteria, sipping warm juice, when Sam showed up, smiling with his backpack slung casually over one shoulder. Hey, he said as he walked towards us. Didn't want to leave without saying bye. I smirked. Whoa, so how much drama for just 2 weeks? Drama queen yourself, he shot back, grinning. Anyway, my birthday's next week. Small party, you should come. Where do you live? I asked. In Lajpat, he said with a smirk. I blinked. Wait, you live in Lajpat? Yeah, just 10 minutes from civil lines. My jaw dropped. No way. That's like next door to us. Remy raised an eyebrow and sipped her juice slowly. Interesting, she said, then fake coughed. So you're inviting only one of us? Sam scratched his head, grinning mischievously. We already have a loudspeaker. Don't want to blow the system with a second one. Remy rolled her eyes and kicked him lightly on the shin. You idiot! We all burst into laughter. Then the train announcement echoed across the platform. As we landed, Remy leaned and whispered, Okay, Miss Niana, since we are apparently hiding our relationship, we part ways here. Drama again, I muttered, rolling my eyes. Please, I'm the main character. She winked. See you in 2 weeks. We took separate taxis from the station, pretending not to know each other, even though our homes were barely a meter apart. Same destination, different routes. But my heart felt strangely full and free. Back at home, everything was the same. The walls, the furniture, the smell of incense and aloo ka paratha. Everything felt familiar, too familiar, like a room that had never been aired. Mom and Dad sat across from me, eyes gleaming with curiosity, throwing questions one after another. I answered carefully, editing my experiences, trimming parts, hiding names. My head ached by the end of the conversation. Dinner was my favorite, aloo ka paratha with butter melting on the top. I took the first bite, just as my phone buzzed. Who, who is it? Mom asked. It's Jimmy, my friend from college, I said, locking the screen quickly. Tell her to call after dinner. Already told her, Ma. I didn't hear you speak. I messaged her. She paused, then nodded. She better be a good girl. She's the topper, Ma, I replied. Her face lit up. Now, now that's the kind of friend you should have. After dinner, I cleared the dishes and turned to head to my room. Where are you going? Mom called out. To my room, Ma. Why don't you sit with your parents for a while? I need to call Jimmy. What if it's urgent? I said gently. Then sit here and talk. No need to hide to your room. The words stung. I sat down with a sigh, dialed Jimmy, and said a quick hello. Hey, I just got home. Just checking if you all reached safe. We did, I said. Don't worry. See you in college. Bye. I hung up. We? Mom asked, raising an eyebrow. We, as in others, friends texted me that they're reached too. Her lips tightened. Why do you all keep records like that? Waste of time. Focus on your studies. I looked away, trying to mask my discomfort. Now you're making faces too. What's gotten into you in college, huh? No, Mom, I'm just tired. I need to rest. Fine, she sighed. Go rest. And remember, kids are coming for tuition from tomorrow. You wake up early. What? But I was planning to rest this weekend, Ma. I said, startled. Don't waste time. You were the reason those girls stopped last year. Everyone praised you, remember? Mom, that was months of teaching. This time it's just 2 weeks. How will I help anyone? She stared. And you're complaining now. There was no point. I knew this was one of those moments where speaking more only made it worse. I nodded, quietly walked to my room, and collapsed on the bed. Finally, alone. I unlocked my phone. 3 missed calls, several messages, all from Sam and Remy. Good thing my phone was on silent. I didn't even want to imagine what would have happened if Mom had heard the notifications. I opened Sam's message first. Hey, beautiful, did you reach? I blinked. Beautiful? My cheeks flushed. Was he flirting? I bit my lip and typed, Yes, Mr. Annoying. Already ate as well. About to crash. Too tired. The ticks turned blue instantly. His reply came within seconds. Oh, I was worried. You didn't even update me. But I'm relieved you're home. Sleep well. We'll miss you. My heart skipped. What the heck? I took a screenshot and sent it to Remy. I texted her. Hey, Sam's been messaging me. Look at this. Remy replied almost instantly. I knew it. He's totally flirting with you. What do I do? That's something only you can decide. Just have fun. Take it slow. Try to understand each other first. Then see where it goes. No, I mean, how do I respond? This is sudden. I have never seen him that way. I don't even have any experience with this stuff. Then don't force it. Just go with the flow. You'll figure out it anyway. Okay, good night. Catch up later. Night, lovebird. I chuckled, my cheeks still warm. I hugged my pillow and stared at the ceiling. This summer break wasn't going to be restful. This summer break turned into anything but a break. I tutored kids for 3 hours in the morning and 2 in the evening. The rest of the day slipped away between family conversation, kitchen errands, and pretending to be the perfect daughter. I felt restrained, like a butterfly stuck in a glass jar. But I kept doing it anyway. The only thing that kept me going, Sam. Our texts turned into long late night chats. We spoke about everything school, music, favorite colors, fears, dreams. There were jokes, awkward silence, random confessions. I found myself smiling at the screen more often than I even imagined. Then, one night, he said, Hey, you're coming to my birthday, right? You have to come. I want you there. I hesitated, my fingers hovering over the keyboard. My heart raced, but somehow I couldn't say no. Okay, I'll try. The minute I sent it, panic crept in. How was I going to leave the house? The next day, I called Remy. Okay, she said. You tell your mom you need to go to the market for college essentials. If she insists on coming along, you say, I've been handling everything myself at college. I'll be fine. And Niana, don't be afraid. I'll be waiting in the market. We'll go together. The plan was foolproof until it wasn't. On the day, Mom raised a brow at the excuse and said flatly, "Give me the list. I'll send your father to get everything." I want to go myself. I need some fresh air, I replied cautiously. She let a sigh. "Fine, I'll come with you." Plan flopped. As we walked through the market, my heart thudded. In the distance, I saw Remy standing near the stationery shop. Our eyes locked. Her expression shifted disappointment, then understanding. She turned away and disappeared in the crowd, pretending not to see us. Back home, I was quiet. I taught the tuition kids, but my mind wasn't with them. My eyes kept drifting to my phone. No messages. Not even from Sam. My heart sank. He must be upset, I thought. They're probably celebrating without me. Maybe, maybe they forgot me. At night, I tossed and turned. Still no text, no ping, just silence. Then, buzz. I sat up. 2:47 a.m. Remy, come out. My eyes widened. Me, what? I can't. Dummy, open the window and climb out. It's not even that high. We have done this at college. My heart pounded. This wasn't college, this was home. But even before I realized it, I was tying my bedsheet to the grill, slowly lowering myself down. To my surprise, it was easier than I thought. But the adrenaline, oh God, I was trembling. And then I saw her. Remy. I ran and hugged her tight. "I missed you," she chuckled. "I know." She handed me a small bag. "What is this?" I asked, puzzled. "Go and give it to him, silly," she grinned. I turned, and, and there in the quiet distance under the flickering streetlight stood Sam. My stomach flipped. He smiled the moment he saw me. "Happy birthday," I said, walking up to him. "Thank you," he replied softly. Then, without thinking twice, he pulled me into a hug. I didn't resist. Beside us, Remy giggled and turned away to give us space. I had never felt like this before. My chest was full, my stomach fluttered. I handed him the gift. Then suddenly, he held my hand. "I like you, Niana," Sam said. "I really, really like you. Will you be my girlfriend?" I froze. My mind blanked. My heart thundered. "Say yes," Remy whispered from behind. "Uh, yes," I said breathlessly. Sam beamed and hugged me again. My cheeks were hot, my arms were shaky, but my heart, it had never felt more alive. A few minutes later, we parted ways. I climbed back into my room using the same bedsheet, legs wobbling, breath still caught somewhere between fear and magic. I lay on my bed, eyes wide open, grinning like a fool. Sleep was impossible. I kept recalling the hug, the way he held my hand, the words, "Will you be my girlfriend?" And my answer. I couldn't remember the last time I felt this alive. Every little thing made me want to smile. Folding clothes, setting the table, brushing my hair. I was humming through it all like some silly bird in spring. My heart still fluttered when I thought of Sam's hug. His words echoed in my ears like dream. "Will you be my girlfriend?" I said yes. Just the thought made my cheeks blush again. I couldn't wait to go back to college. But that joy, it didn't stay hidden for long. "What's with you?" Amma asked one evening, narrowing her eyes. "Why are you acting like a butterfly suddenly?" I froze. I hadn't realized how visible my joy had become. I didn't even know how to answer. Why was I happy? Wasn't that supposed to be a nice thing? But in this house, even happiness had to be explained. From then on, I tucked my smiles away, buried them. Whenever I caught myself lost in a daydream, I'd force myself out of it. But it didn't work. "You keep getting lost in thoughts," Amma snapped again. "Something's truly wrong with this girl. I think she's caught the air of the college." The way she said it, it wasn't just scolding, it was disappointment. And that scared me. So I waited quietly for college to reopen, for a chance to be myself again. When the day finally came, I nearly ran to the railway station. I hugged Amma and Baba quickly, waved them goodbye, and climbed onto the train with my bag bouncing against my back. The moment I sat by the window, feeling the wind against my skin, I finally let out a breath. A real one. The kind you only take when nobody's watching. I was going back. But somewhere during the journey, I zoned out. probably replaying Sam's voice in my head, or thinking about hugging Remy the moment I saw her. And then I heard the announcement. I jumped up, panicked, grabbed my bags, and rushed out of the train. Only this wasn't my station. It was small, empty, remote. My heart started pounding. This wasn't right. I looked around, hoping to find something familiar, but there was nothing, just an unfamiliar board and a growing sense of fear. I didn't know what to do. I've, I've always been good at observing people, quietly judging their actions, trying to behave the way I was taught to. But in that moment, I realized something terrifying. I didn't know how to survive. I didn't know how to ask a stranger for help. I didn't even know how to stay calm. What would Remy do right now? I asked myself. She'd probably laugh, wipe out her phone, figure things out, and stroll away like a queen. But me, I felt like a child again. And then my phone rang. Remy. I answered immediately. I got down in the wrong station, I blurted out. I didn't know what to do. She laughed. Dummy, that station just an hour away. Be a Phyllis Queen and get on the next train 20 minutes from now. You got this. Something about her voice made me believe I did have this. So I bought the ticket, somehow boarded the next train, and reached the station. Still shaking, but proud. When I stepped off and saw Remy running towards me, I just broke. I ran to her and cried, Thank you. After that incident, Remy took me under her wing. She made me take buses alone, figure out platforms, ride the metro. At first, I was terrified, but each time I succeeded, I felt lighter, stronger. After that incident, Remy took me under her wing. She made me take buses alone, figure out platforms, ride the metro. At first, I was terrified, but each time I succeeded, I felt lighter, stronger. I started doing simple things alone, walking to the market, buying groceries, even running errands. For the first time in my life, I felt like I was becoming someone. Then Sam asked me to go to the movies with him. I said yes. I wore a top and jeans, something Remy insisted was not just stylish but practical. She was right. It was easier to move around, quicker to handle, and I felt comfortable. After the movie, Sam walked me to the hostel gate. He leaned in, about to hug me goodbye, when I froze. Because just then, I saw her, Amma, marching out of the hostel building, and behind her, Remy looking horrified. Sam noticed too. He straightened, stepped away like a stranger, and walked off. Who was that boy? Amma demanded. I panicked. No one, just someone asking for directions. She gave me a long, cold look. Top, jeans. My breath caught. And then the explosion came. You liar, she yelled. This girl was your roommate and you never told us. Now you're best friends? Of course. No wonder you've started dressing like her. Lying like her. I stood frozen. My throat dried up. Auntie, Remy tried to explain. It's not like that. Shut up! You mannerless girl! Stay away from my daughter! Then Amma grabbed my wrist, dragged me across the courtyard, straight to the warden, changed my dorm, just like that. When we got to my room, she threw a salwar kameez on the bed and said sharply, Change now! I stood there, humiliated. I wanted to scream, I wanted to cry, but I just changed because I knew any protest would only make things worse. And I buttoned the collar of the kurta. I bit my lip, trying to stop the tears that was already blurring my vision. Sharing a room with someone else felt like a nightmare. I didn't even know the girl. She was quiet and barely talked. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was she wasn't Remy. I missed Remy's loud yawn, her silly songs, her random questions while brushing teeth. Most of all, I missed her presence, the safety it gave me, the freedom. Now, my dorm room felt like a cage, and I started doing the only thing I knew well, shrinking. I stopped replying to Sam. What was even the point? Mom had started calling me randomly, video calls, no less, morning, night, even between classes. I had to rush back to the room, sit up straight in salwar kameez, and act like a life-sized doll. I felt watched, trapped. Sam would never understand this life. I couldn't explain it without sounding pathetic. So I simply told him not to meet me again. I could still remember the silence that followed my message. Maybe it was for the best. One evening, I was sitting on bed pretending to read but mostly staring at the same line for the 10th time. That's when a hand came down on my book. I flinched and then looked up to that smirk. Hey! Remy grinned. Remy! I gasped and threw my arms around her. She laughed as we hugged tight, my heart filled with joy I hadn't felt in weeks. I miss you so much, I said. You what? You won't believe what I did, she winked. I swapped room with a new roommate. My jaw dropped. Why did we think about this earlier? We burst into laughter, hugging again. From that day, everything changed. Whenever Amma video called, Rimi would hide behind the door or drive under the bed with her phone. Once, she even whispered, Tell her I'm the new wardrobe. I had to mute my mic to stop laughing. Rimi noticed how drained I was after college. So one day she said, Let's bunk college once a week, just once. We need a breather. I hesitated. But, Niana, once a day won't kill your grades, but the pressure might. She was right. So we did it. We'd sneak out, hop on buses, explore places nearby, eat whatever looked questionable but smelled amazing, clicked goofy selfies, giggle like middle schoolers. Those stolen hours felt like air, like color, like me. But Sam, he was nowhere, no messages, no calls. I had asked him not to see me again, and he listened. Part of me was glad he respected my words, but another part, the part that remembered his laugh, his silly questions, his warmth, that part ached. And though I smiled for pictures, laughed at jokes, and hid behind bus rides and momo stalls, I couldn't help but wonder, did I push away something good? Or was I just protecting myself from the pain I already saw coming? I didn't want to go home for puja holidays. For the first time, the idea of returning to my family didn't feel like comfort. It felt like a cage waiting to snap shut. But I had no excuses strong enough to stay. So I went. Yet something had changed. Not everything, but something small, something real. The first night we went to a restaurant, Amma, like always, tried ordering for me. I stopped her. I'll order for myself. Just that. But she watched me like I'd grown horns. I didn't say much otherwise. When she asked about college, updates, friends, I gave soft smiles and vague answers. When relatives visited, I sat like a doll, silent, unmoved, distant. I didn't want to fake smile or listen to people comment on my clothes, my hair, my life. Are you mad? Amma snapped one evening. We are sweating blood for you, and this is how you repay us, you ungrateful thing. But I didn't cry. I didn't yell back. I felt nothing. Her words didn't enter me anymore. They, they bounced off like raindrops on stone. One late night, my phone vibrated. It was Remy. Come outside, like last time, she texted. I didn't even hesitate. I climbed out the window. But this time, it wasn't Sam waiting in the dark. It was just her, Remy. I don't know, she said, looking at me with a soft smile. I just missed you. She pulled me into a hug, tight and warm, like a home I never had. We stayed like that for minutes, quiet, breathing. Then came a voice from behind. Am, am I eligible for a hug too? Sam. I couldn't help it. I ran to him, hugged him tight, let my tears fall freely into his chest. He smiled, brushing my hair back, and then gently kissed me. Not in a hurry, not desperate, just present, warm, real. He pulled out a little package from his bag. Inside were two tiny ceramic lovebirds painted in soft, dusky pastels. For you, he said. I smiled, tears still clinging to my lashes. Thank you, I whispered. And then this time, I kissed him. It was like something in me was healing, growing, until a hand grabbed my hair and yanked me backwards. I gasped, turned, and froze. Amma, what is this filth? She roared. Her hand struck my face again and again. So, this is what you've become shameless, disgusting. Remy rushed forward, trying to protect me. Auntie, please! You! Amma turned to her. You are the poison that ruined my daughter. Her voice thundered through the street. Lights flicked on. Doors creaked open. Remy's mom came rushing down, alarmed. You both planned this! Amma cried, shaking with fury. You brought shame upon our family. Stop it, Amma, I finally said, my voice trembling but steady. She glared. You shut your mouth, you ungrateful creature! I stepped forward, my voice clear this time. No, I won't shut up anymore. The air froze. What did you say? I said, no, you don't control me anymore. Her expression twisted with this disbelief. Then rage. You've become shameless. Fine. Go. Leave your life alone. Let's see how far you crawl without me. Don't call me when your fake life shatters. Don't come crying when you're broken. Her voice was supposed to sound threatening, but all I heard was freedom. Okay, I said, meeting her gaze. I won't. That night I packed. There was no goodbyes, no apologies, no second thoughts. I walked straight to Rimi's house. Her mom opened the door and just smiled. No questions, just warmth. We celebrated puja together. We danced, cooked, took photos, burned sparkles on the terrace. For the first time, I laughed without guilt. After the break, we returned to the hostel, and I was nervous. Of course, I was. But something in me had shifted. I started taking tuitions after class. At first, just one student, then two, then five. Word spread. I was good. Soon I could pay for my own tuition fees, my own food, my own life. Was it easy? No. But I had me. I wore what I liked, ate what I wanted, made friends without fear of judgment. I smiled more. I listened more. I lived more. By the end of college, I wasn't the invisible girl anymore. I was Niana, whole, strong, bold. Convocation day. They came. Amma and Appa. Amma walked up to me, lips curled. So this is what you've turned into, she said. I bet you regret everything now. But if you apologize, we'll still accept you. Come back home. Leave this nonsense behind. I looked her in the eyes. Who I have turned into? I asked, smiling faintly. Can't you see it? Don't you see my eyes look brighter now? Don't you see the light in me? She didn't answer. Or maybe you're just afraid of this version of me, the one who finally chose herself. Her face stiffened. Thank you, Amma, I said. Thank you for finally setting me free. You're still arrogant, still lost. No, you want me to be the old Niana, that scared, invisible, voiceless girl. I'm so sorry, Amma, but I buried her, and I'm not digging her up for anyone, not even you. Remy appeared beside me, her eyes glistening with pride. Sam held up the camera. We smiled, we posed, we captured this moment. Three misfits who found each other, fought for themselves, and finally stood free, ready for the world together. Epilogue. Sometimes I still wake up wondering if it was all just a dream. That girl, me, hiding behind her mother's back, counting her breaths in fear, whispering her dreams like secrets. She feels like someone I used to know in another lifetime. Now, the sunlight hits differently. Mornings feel like promises instead of punishment. Remy and I still live together, even after college. Our tiny apartment is always messy, laughter tangled in the air, clothes on the chair, half eaten noodles on the table, but it's ours. Sam visits often. He doesn't try to complete me. He simply sees me, loud, soft, awkward, angry, happy. And he chooses me again and again. Sometimes we talk about the past, sometimes we don't. It doesn't weigh on us anymore. And Amma, she hasn't called since convocation. But but I think about her sometimes. Not with hatred, just wonder. I wonder if she ever sits on the old wooden chair near the window and misses the version of me she tried to build from fear. I wonder if she ever realizes I wasn't rebelling, I was surviving. But this story isn't about her, it's about me. It's about a girl who was taught to be silent, but learned to speak. Taught to obey, but learned to choose. Taught to shrink, but learned to bloom. I'm not perfect. I still make mistakes. I still cry sometimes when no one's looking. But I no longer carry shame in my spine or guilt in my heartbeat. I carry freedom. The kind you earn, the kind you protect, the kind that comes when you stop asking for permission to leave. I once I once thought love was obedience, that family meant silence. Now I know love is choice and family is found. Sometimes in roommates, sometimes in lovers, sometimes in the version of yourself that waited patiently at the end of the tunnel. I named that version of me Hope, and she's flying now with the wings that nobody gave her. I built them.